So, today we're looking at a very exciting amp for me because I'm a big fan of the man, the guitar player that defined a generation and was voted so many times Mr. Guitar Player of the Year until Taylor Swift came around and now is one of the main guitar players of the last decade or whatever. Number 8 in the list. Clearly very similar to Steve Morse and the other people. Engl has worked with Steve Morse for a long time, and they have the big Kahuna blue amp with dual mids, which I just never had, and I'm very jealous of people who have it. But now there's a tiny one. The tiny Steve Morse Signature 20 is out, based on the Ironball 20 SE 20 as Ironball SE Ironball Special Edition 20 something. So we're going to look at it, even though we know this thing by heart, and this thing is pretty much the same thing, just revoiced. But that's what we're doing. So let's check it out. We're going to first take it out of the box. Engl always had a lot of styrofoam, very stable styrofoam packaging, but apparently they've gone over to doing everything with cardboard and being environmentally friendly and sustainable. That is very commendable, because I always pushed about that. Of course, we're checking out this amp with the signature guitar of the man. You know, we all know that guitar that Steve Morse plays. It's the guitar of a guitar hero, obviously. Before we do that, we're going to go into some product shots. Before we really go into the details and then all the sounds, we're gonna noodle horribly. Haven't played guitar in quite a while. You know, setting up YouTube events and stuff like this and editing videos. So it's going to be bad, and I also don't know how to play like Steve Morse. Let's be embarrassingly bad. Oh, that was horrible. But you could hear already how good it is. Quick Steve Morse story, a little bit of I used to be good, that kind of a thing. I did an album for a prog label, big concept album, and Steve Morse was supposed to play some solos on it. And in my production, I did placeholder solos. And I tried to emulate some of his playing style, a little bit. And sadly, the email to him with those rough tracks was lost in spam. So half a year later, even after the album was already released, I get an email back from Steve saying, look, sorry this landed in spam, but based on what I heard, you didn't need me, you were just fine. So that made my day. I'm not that good anymore, but for me, getting a tiny pat on the shoulder from Steve Morse, that absolutely did it. I'm gonna go with a less Steve Morsey guitar than this one, I think. I mean, he likes everything in blue, so this is not quite correct because it's purple. But let's use this one, why not? Because it's more tuning stable and stuff. By the way, tuning, let's check this out. Yep, we use this. Let's get into the amp. This amp. Let's look at the front. We got clean and lead gain. Bass, middle, treble, shared. The other one has lead presence. This one's different. It has clean presence, which makes sense because Steve needs pristine cleans. Lead volume master is the same. We got switchies here. A store switchy to store the current preset because this can be completely MIDI switched. So whatever you do in terms of not the knob settings, those are fixed in where they are, but the switchy settings and some other stuff, including the effects on the back, can be saved. Okay? So MVB is some kind of mid-push boost something. We're going to play around with that. Reverb can be turned on and set up in the back. Delay can be turned on, set up in the back. So this is an amp with reverb and delay built in. One of the very few that I know has that, and that makes this thing a one-stop shop. You take this anywhere and you have your reverb, your delay, your DI out. You've got everything with you. We had the Iron Ball SE on a remote island in the Philippines as our only amp, and we loved it. We had this 112 cab from Engl as well. It's a bitch to lug around, but it is the tube amp that you take with you that can do most of the things you need.
Going to the expected chord, we're going to
We have a gain boost right here that can be clicked in for both channels. Switch to lead channel, which has some noise, but I think there's a gate. FX loop can be turned on and off. We're not going to check the FX loop. We have too much stuff to check anyway because it's got effects built in, so we're good. And this is the noise gate. Oh, that's how that would be turned on. Which you can only turn on, by the way, if you can see this. See, it doesn't turn on. But when you're on the lead channel, that's where it engages, and now the noise is gone. Looking in the back, I mean, it's so easy for me to present this amp because, you know, I've used it for so much time, so long. I've used it so much long, good time. You can switch this down to 5 watt, 1 watt for bedroom levels, or completely off and run it without a speaker, and it's got an internal load, which is amazing. That makes it so flexible. There is reverb. No, that's incorrect. That's delay mix, delay time, delay feedback. That's the delay settings up there. There is reverb and noise gate, and you can determine whether the IR is pre or post, I'm going to say power amp. So you can grab it in 2 different positions, I think. You can see that the IR selector has 3 cabinets loaded. There's a 212, a 412, and a different 412. I think we're on number 3 right now. We're going to listen to that later, of course. You can employ a 2-button foot switch for clean lead switch and gain boost if you want to. So that's a typical analog clicky foot switch. Phantom power can be applied to the MIDI port for the Engl foot controller so it lights up and shit. USB for IR loading, very simple. It's just a folder you drop in your IRs and that's it. Send return for you know what that does. There is the IR selector, which has 6 IRs. 3 of them, of course, are the Engl ones preloaded. Actually, it says 8. It's 8 IRs. I can't read that from here. I'm in front of the amp, people. Come on. There is a mini jack for headphone out with a separate volume. The IR balanced output on XLR with a ground lift switch, and power amp out for 8 or 16 ohm. They crammed every single damn thing in this thing that you possibly can. For the chest, we have some effects on the floor, which we really don't need. We don't need this delay. We don't need a tube screamer. We don't need an archer. We will try a tube screamer and an archer, which is a clone type pedal. We're going to turn the looper off so that we don't have the buffer engaged. So, furthermore, I'm going into the board with this guitar. It's a, look at the birds. Bird's eye. It's a Steve Morse signature. One of my favorite guitars. You rarely see it in videos because I don't really work with Ernie Ball anymore. But I bought this years ago for a steal. Brand spanking new, almost, but I bought it used. And always wanted one. I wanted one in blue, but because that's, you know, the Steve Morse thing. But come on. Because apparently he played in a band something about purple. Maybe with Prince? Purple Rain? Something with purple, that's why the guitar is purple. That's going into the front of the amp. After the board, amp's going through the aux, so I can attenuate it a bit, into this Engl 112 V30 loaded, very heavy cab, being mic'd with a 57 and a Royer R10 ribbon. Also, what you might be hearing, I have to check that out in the edit, but it would be really cool, is this R88 AEA mic over there. Damn it, I touched it. It's very delicate. That's a stereo ribbon, which captures room sound absolutely perfectly. So mixing that in to get some room could make it very cool. We're going to see in the mix whether or not that is what we do. So we got a stereo ribbon happening, 2 mics, that cab in the room, and of course later on we're going to check out the IR output and then we're done. So this is clean channel. No gain boost, no MVB, clean presence, up. I have a feeling we want to get that bit higher. Here we go. Let's put on some pedals, why not? Some delay and reverb here from the Galaxy. And then tube screamer, why not? If you're expecting Steve Morse licks, I don't know any. I'm a huge fan, love the guitar, never had... I have the book with all of them in it. I think I practiced something at some point, but then time, discipline happens. I think this one is something like that. I practiced that with my students for alternate picking. Did a lot of alternate picking exercise because of, the man. It's a really beautiful exercise. No, wait, it's... That's how it was. We're going to the 4 and then back to the 3. always did that with my students and can never really get the hang of it. That string skipping, and it's a beautiful exercise. There's a very old furry video on YouTube explaining that with the man himself. That sounds dandy with that amp. Engl amps and pedals is always a bit iffy to me, but that amp can handle it. Turn that shit off. Let's see how the reverb and delay handle in here. I think just the telly pickup here. That's really weak there. I mean, that's the guitar. You kind of have the feeling that you need to play expensive voicings when you're dealing with Steve Morse, but on the other hand, I mean, I know that's not him, but it's kind of him, you know? He played that a few times. While we're on clean, let's explore the effects. The delay is beautiful. So we got a mix here. It's analog style, but holy that whoa. Okay, dial that back a bit and more. Whatever they did with that delay, they did good. Well would be the correct grammar, but still. They did goodly. Bit more mixy. And the reverb. And there's a knob for it. This thing. No, this one. Now, the trick to Steve Morse's tone is usually very simple. Have a good lead sound and put a delay on it and pan that to the other side. So kind of dry to one side and delay to the other, as far as I heard, but what do I know? Saw him at Berkeley once when I was there on stage. And I will never forget this response, because he's got that chromatic approach technique that you saw in the beginning applied extremely horribly. And someone at Berkeley tried to ask a smart question. So can you talk more about your chromatic approach technique? He said, well, yeah, I approach notes chromatically. That's how he thinks about it. It's like, here's a note. I got this A minor. And he wants to go there. And then he does. And he approaches it chromatically. He said usually it's maybe the root or the fifth. I mean, of course, it's an important note that he wants to go to. I don't know how he plays it. If he then slides up or if he does... I don't know, but I love the simplicity of how he approaches these things. There's a lot of brilliance behind that simplicity, though. Let's explore the presence. The clean presence here. A little bit less reverb. It's a meaty clean, no matter what you do. The meat's always there. Much more meat now, maybe less meat here. Yeah, it'll never get voxy, I can tell you that. That really just made it meatier. Talking about meteors, have you ever thought about the fact that there are meteors, but there are not ureas? Meteor? Urea? Think about it. It's subtle. I might want it all the way up there. I can't do it. The trick is, when you play it so fast that you can't actually play it, don't play it so fast! We're moving on to the lead channel. Now, that, to me, is a problem. Because it is round, it's smooth, it's buttery, it's thick. It is missing the top end bite, absolutely. And that's something that on later Steve Morse band albums, I missed. They did sound less produced. They sounded more like he did it in the basement. Sorry, Steve. And the whole thing sounded like there was a blanket on the tone, especially on the guitar. So that might be a how he preferred it thing. But it's missing some of that top end for me. Luckily, the treble can help us because we don't have a lead presence here. So let's see. Slipped. Now, Engl is known for being aggressive in metal and all that stuff. This is not that amp. That's why it's been revoiced for Steve. It is smooth, buttery. It is solos. It is just, it sits there and sings. Gonna kick in, well, we're gonna leave that and we're gonna do this. Difficult! I'm slipping from the fifth. That tone though, let's get back to the Engl. It's a dream lead. Need no more. No more effects, no more anything. Dream Khalid. Done. We haven't even pushed the thing. We haven't even put the MVB in, which is some kind of mid boost. Dream Khalid. Holy ballsack of Titan. That's the clean. We're going to push it. Lean enough in the low end not to be annoying, and holy crap, you can get quite a bit of rhythm out of that clean. Now we're gonna go back to the lead. The gate wants to open. Let's go back in the back here. There we go. Now we're gonna push that with the... Let's go to the EQ first. And we're gonna push the gain. How's that go? I'm trying to sweep there and I shouldn't. It should all be alternate picking. Something about wolves, and there's a unison thing with the organ, and it's way faster than this, but that sound... Well, my problem is I told Engl they can get the amp back. I'm getting paid for this video, and it's moving on to the next reviewer. And I have amps, so many amps. But this, in this combination, this is an absolute dream. And now I have to talk to my friends from Engl whether or not I can have one, because this is ridiculously fun. It's not a metal amp, absolutely not. It's a rock beast, and it's a lead beast. It's just like you want to play this, right? Just exactly this. That's the dream. Let's look in the back right here. There's the IR thing. Let's check it out. Let's go to one. Let's listen to that. And it's quiet. All this stuff can be midified. You can also use an Engl foot switch. I think we're very done here. Sorry for the playing, but the thing is, I noticed that the playing through the video got better. That's not me. I haven't practiced in ages. I haven't played this guitar in ages. That's this puppy. That's inspiring. Not if you want to do Nirvana. Not if you want to do modern metal. There's other Engl amps for that. Founders Edition, Iron Ball SE. And others. But when you want Steve Morse tones, you're buying a Steve Morse amp. Don't be an idiot. If you like to play lead sounds that just are there, that are buttery, they're a bit too dark for me, but then you crank up the treble to 2 and you're there, the Steve Morse Signature 20 is the shit. The effects in it, everything you need. Do you need a pedal board in front of you? No. It's got everything. It's got a boost. It's got the push the mids. It's a dream amp if you like the tones that I got from it. Well done, Engl. I'm assuming this is going to clock in somewhere where this clocks in. Maybe they got to pay some royalties, so maybe a bit more. Maybe 1,300, something like that. Maybe a bit cheaper. It's fantastic. You can play it with headphones. You can play it at home without a cab. You can get the... Wow. Wow. Done. Links below. Please use them. And I'm almost at the end.